Let's talk about infidelity in committed relationships. What are some of the consistent findings around reasons for and maybe even long-term consequences of infidelity for men and women? And this could be marriage or long-term partnership or infidelity of any kind, I suppose.
And so if you look at a whole host of information around why women have affairs, it's not compatible with the dual mating strategy hypothesis. So, and is compatible with the mate switching. That is, women who are looking to either divest themselves from an existing mateship or trade up in the mating market to a mate who's more compatible with them or higher in mate value, or simply see whether they're sufficiently desirable so that it eases the transition into the mating pool, or keeping a mate as a potential backup mate, what I call mate insurance. Women are seeking to get resources and investment from one guy and good genes from another guy. This is an important point, that women's attraction to men is more context specific and varies more across contexts than men's attraction to women.
Quote unquote emotional affairs. We're talking about
we're just
sex with somebody other than their committed partner, unbeknownst to their partner.
Right. And there are other forms of infidelity which we could get into, including emotional infidelity and financial infidelity. But here we're just talking about, for the moment, sexual infidelity. 26% of married women committed an infidelity at some point during their marriage, and about 50% of men. Other studies have given lower figures. And so the exact figures bounce around depending on why do women do it? Because it's a risky endeavor. She risks her long-term mate or losing a long-term mate. It's risky in terms of reputational damage for both sexes. So it's a risky thing. Why do women do it? So for men, it's mainly a matter of sexual variety. So about 70% of the men, it's the opportunity presented itself. I was out of town and I had this opportunity. So low risk, low cost pursuit of sexual variety, sexual novelty is a key motivation for men.
Sorry to interrupt. I just want to, so 70% of men that cheat, that's the primary cause, or is it that 70% of men do cheat?
No. 70 of the men who cheat, 70%. Thank you for that clarification. Of the men who do cheat, 70% cite that as the key motive. But if you look at women, this just desire for pure novelty, sexual variety is much less of a motive. But women who have affairs cite that they're unhappy with their primary relationship, emotionally unhappy or sexually unhappy, and typically both. And this may seem like totally obvious that, well, of course, people, if they're unhappy in the relationship, are more likely to stray, but in fact, it's not true for men. So if you compare men who are happy with their marriage and men who are not happy with their marriage, there's no difference in their infidelity rates. And what evidence am I talking about? Well, for one thing, women who have affairs, and this is about 70% of them,
again, sorry, just I want to make sure people
of the women
who have affairs.
Of the women who have affairs. So let's say ballpark Kinsey was, let's say, roughly right, 26% of women will have affairs. Let's just assume that he's right. And we don't know exactly. But of the women who do have affairs, about 70% say they have fallen in love with their affair partner. They become deeply emotionally involved with their affair partner. And to me, if you're just trying to get good genes from a guy, that is the last thing you want to do, is fall in love with him or get emotionally involved. But it's very compatible if you want to switch mates. So that's sort of that's one piece of evidence that suggests that women, the mate switching function of infidelity is a more likely explanation. Now, these two are not inherently incompatible hypotheses. In other words, it looked like from the early studies that when women are ovulating, these are among non-pill taking women, women not on hormonal contraceptives, that they experienced a preference shift toward more men who were masculine and symmetrical.